I am Olurambi. You have heard story about me, how I promised Iroko tree and not fulfilled it. But here is my story. During my time, there were many barren women. They desperately wanted children and decided to ask the Iroko tree for help, and that was how I got entangled with the Iroko tree. They went to the tree to beg the Iroko spirit for help. The Iroko tree asked each of the women who showed up what she would give in return for bearing a child. And woman after woman promised the Iroko tree spirit goats, yams, hand-woven cloth. One day I decided to visit the Iroko tree where people would go to implore the spirit of the tree for different favors. The Iroko was kind, grant people their wishes, and they must reciprocate with gifts. But when it was my turn, I pleaded with the tree to give me a child, and I vowed to return the child back to the powerful tree if my request was granted. Iroko was pleased with the pledge made by me, because all the other people that have been coming before me, no one had ever made that kind of vow. Some months later, I, Olurambi, became pregnant and had a baby girl. I was so happy, and I named the child Apombapor, meaning the most beautiful and as red as palm oil. Apombapor began to grow up, but I, Olurambi, did not remember to fulfill the vow I made with Loroko. So when Loroko had waited for a long time without Olurambi fulfilling her promise, the spirit tree decided to come to my house and take Apombapor. On getting to the house, the spirit tree gripped Apombapori's hand and began to drag her away. The villagers started singing so as to serve as a reminder for everyone seeking out for favor, and I begged the Iroko tree to temper justice with mercy not to take my beloved daughter Apombapora. Villagers came out to plead on my behalf. Iroko accepted my plea, but Iroko tree said let this serve as a warning for everyone, not to make a pledge they cannot fulfill. If not for the plea of the villagers, I, Olurambi, would have loosed my child. I am Olurambi. You have heard story about me, how I promised Iroko tree and not fulfilled it. But here is my story. During my time, there were many barren women. They desperately wanted children and decided to ask the Iroko tree for help, and that was how I got